going to talk about another topic, which is our break-even analysis. A break-even analysis is another important point that we have in the organization, and we often have to analyze whether we are making profits enough to cover our cost or not. So break-even analysis is one concept which is very helpful in understanding the profit and loss, whether a company is able to make profit and loss in a fair manner or not. So break-even analysis is nothing but a concept that refers to a point in which the total cost and total revenue is equal to each other. Well, no doubt, as an entrepreneur, whenever we are opening up any company, we would want to have more profit from day one. But normally that is not possible because your products may not be sold from day one. You may have huge cost from the very beginning, which could be your fixed cost or variable cost or any other cost that you have to incur to make your products. But certainly your profit will start coming after some time when you have established name in the market and maybe when people start buying your products there and then. So profit and loss actually depends on these scenarios, and every entrepreneur would want to know that point where the total cost is actually equal to the total value that they have generated, right? Then the break-even point analysis is also used to determine the number of units or dollars of revenue needed to cover the total cost, that is fixed and the variable cost. We have a formula for calculating break-even point, which is under break-even analysis. The formula is as follows. The break-even quantity is equal to the fixed cost divided by your sales price per unit minus variable cost per unit. Well, in the Excel sheet that we're going to have over here right now, I won't be using this formula, but I'm going to show you how to calculate break-even point with some calculations in Excel. So in this formula, we have fixed cost, sales price per unit, and variable cost per unit. So fixed cost is nothing but the cost that do not change with time, and it do not change with varying output. That means the salary, rent, or building machinery, or even the units that you make, the fixed cost will tend to remain same, right? Because that is the cost that we incur initially to buy a building or to buy machinery in order to make the goods. Sales price per unit is a selling price, unit selling price per unit, and variable cost per unit is a variable cost which is incurred to create a unit. That means as and when you will create more units, your variable cost will set to increase. Certainly, because when you are trying to increase your volume of production, you will be needing more raw material, you might be needing more employees, you might be needing more machineries to work on the extra production. So variable cost is actually dependent that way on the output that we are generating in a company. That was all a very brief snapshot of the concept of break-even analysis. Let me now come to the Excel sheet and let me get going with the Excel sheet working. So today I have with me another sheet. Let me just increase the font size and then we get going with the example. So let me just bold this so that it is easily viewable by the viewers. So I have a very simple example of a company having a fixed cost as, let me write it over here. Let me write the heading first. So we are calculating break-even point, and the major heading is your break-even analysis, right? So in this case, the very first thing I have is the fixed cost, which I can easily take as say 2000, which is quite less, but that's okay. I'm going to start with the lower cost. Then we have the variable cost, which is, in my example, I have taken it as 500. Then we have the unit price, which I've taken as 750. Then I have a table which I will be making. First variable in that is volume of production, which initially will be zero for some time to come. And then, as and when I increase my production, you will see that variable cost will increase. So, as of now, I have it as zero. The next variable is the fixed cost, and I simply take this amount from the B3 column. So I simply write, and since I want this to be a fixed amount, I will simply use a dollar sign for that. I'll simply say dollar B dollar 3. The next heading which I have in the table is that of a variable cost, and this is nothing but the multiplication of your variable cost and the volume of production. So in this particular case, the volume of production as of now is coming out to be zero, but that's okay. So I'm going to use the cell. So I say A8, and I'm not going to fix the cell. Reason being, this is going to change with every number. So I say A8 multiplied by B4, which is having variable cost. So I will say multiply, and again, since variable cost, initial variable cost is going to be the same, so I'm going to use dollar sign for this as well. So I say dollar B and dollar 2, right? The next field is that of a total cost, which is nothing but the summation of your fixed cost and the variable cost. So I will simply say total cost is equal to B8 plus your C8. The next heading which I have over here is that of income, which I generate as and when I produce more. So income will actually depend on the volume of production, which in this case is zero. So I will simply write A8 multiplied by B3. Not B3, it is B5, which is the unit price. And this I want to keep it fixed for some time to come. So I will simply say dollar B dollar 3. It is 5, not 3, right? So after income, I have the marginal income, which is actually the income which increases with every unit which I make. So it actually it is like a gross income without the without the variable cost. So I will simply say that income, that is E8 minus C8, right? Next heading I have as the net profit. Net profit is equal to your income, which is your E8 minus C6, which is your variable cost. So it is C8, sorry, not 6, and minus B6, which is your fixed cost. B6 is your B8, sorry, not B6. As of now, as we can see, the profit is coming out to be negative, and it will indeed come negative. Reason being, production is zero, variable cost is zero, income is zero, and there is a fixed cost. So what we are going to do now, we are going to simply drag these options, and let's see what we get.